We now request Dr. Unnikrishnan Nair Sir, Director VSSC Thiruvananthapuram, to address the gathering.
Good morning. Our Chairman ISRO, Shri Somnath, and our Vijnana Bharati National Organizing Secretary, Shri Jayant Sahasrabuddhe, Dr. Harish, Dr. Sanjeevan, Dr. Shamdayal Dev, Director of ASU, Professor Murthy, ISR Director, and Dr. Padma Kumar, and Dr. Sri Rajiv Nair, who is going to propose vote of thanks, and all the esteemed guests sitting here, and dear students. Very good morning, and it is today, it's a very, that 12th August, we are celebrating on exactly on 12th August, the birthday celebrations of our one of the great scientists, and it is quite appropriate that the Swadeshi science movement, especially the current government, is doing a lot in pushing and making us aware about the great contributions of our own scientists. Naturally, all of us have a tendency to admire or appreciate what others have done, means others outside the country, and usually it's a very rare occasion, or it's a rare phenomenon that we appreciate our own people who have made great contributions to build the science and technology, the edifice or the building that we are all enjoying today. You all know that 1957 was the first launch of Sputnik. It was the beginning of space age, Bahirakasha Yuga, and that was done by the then USSR. And within 3 or 4 years, 1961, the first man, Yuri Gagarin, was in space. That was the type of acceleration for the space science at that time. And at that time, when it was all just starting at that time, it's a great vision to initiate the program in our country by Dr. Sarabhai and the initial gurus at that time. Because our program also started at the beginning of 1960s. This is one area where we have not missed the bus, and we also started commensurate with the development elsewhere. That is why we are here. We know the Temple Proclamation entry that was issued in 1936 by our great Maharaja. But now we know that all people can go to temple. We don't find any discrimination. But at that time there were a lot of discriminations, and some people were not allowed to go into some specific area, including temple. At that time, taking that decision is more important. That is called what you call as a great decision taken at that time. Similarly, Dr. Sarabhai and the team, they took the historic decision of making and convincing the government, because he also just came out of the independence 1947, hardly 1 or 2 decades within that time, convincing the government and then taking up this program. And I don't know how many of you wanted to become a Sarabhai or Baba. I don't think you probably, it is not science alone. You are all going to become, maybe your area could be different, need not be science. So ideally you should discover what is there within yourself. Then if you find out that self, that is aspiring to become what you are going to become tomorrow, that what you call in physics, that resonance, if you meet, then you don't have to do anything. Like the great film celebrity Kamala Hassan, he said, I never go to office, because his job is that passion is acting. If your passion is what you want to do, then it doesn't become a load on you. You know that the principle of a swing, or if you just give a disturbance, the swing will swing its own frequency. That is called its natural frequency. Like that, all of us have got a natural frequency. Some of you may have multiple natural frequencies. And if you fall into that slot, then you don't have to spend any energy and become great, either scientist or engineers, or could be an artist or anything, whatnot. That is what is there inside you. And our education system should finally discover that self in you and guide you in that direction. So on this I believe the Swadeshi science movement is doing a lot of activities in making us proud on our own achievements, because we should feel that we are great. You know the historic speech of Swami Vivekananda in Chicago, and the further comments, it was quite inappropriate if I talk something about, because their great personalities are sitting here, but the legendary Romain Rolland later, he said, after reading Vivekananda, I am getting so much of electricity in my body, and then I am just wondering what would have happened to those people who heard his direct voice at that time. So he himself, he was doing a great job of liberating all of us from these shackles of whatever we have been put into by the invaders, and that was one contribution by him in making us believing in ourselves, and then come out of that darkness and then find our own ways. There are so many things that contributed to later to the our independence and post-independence, many developments in the country. So I don't want to prolong my speech on this auspicious day. I have only one appeal to this younger generation, because you know the greatest asset, our chairman was saying, the greatest asset of this country is not overpopulation. It is that we have 66% of younger population in that below the age of 35. And you belong to that 40% that is between the age of 13 and 35. So that is our strength. When we harness that strength of younger generation, and when you discover that self within you, I am quite confident that 2014 India would be a totally different country, and as our chairman was saying, we literally become a developed country. I wish all the very best to you, and I thank the organizers for this opportunity, and also in commemorating the birthday celebrations of Dr. Sarabhai on 12th August itself. Thank you very much.